Hi there, it's Andrew from C1D Paintball. This little video I've been wanting to do for a little while. I do get a lot of questions about LaSalle Paintball. Obviously our home field, I say it's obvious because if you look at the number of videos we made, the vast overwhelming majority is shot there. So I figured this video would be just an explanation on, what a typical day going to LaSalle Paintball is like. And we'll talk about a little bit about the facility, but more in depth about the different game types you'd play on the average day. And I'll give some examples too when I talk about the main regular game types of the videos we've made, so you can see an example of the gameplay on it. All right, first of all, LaSalle Paintball is located in LaSalle, Quebec, which is a suburb just outside of Montreal. We'll connect it to it. Montreal's an island, if you didn't know. So it's just west of the main part of Montreal. I've got notes here because, I've mentioned I'm old and I just need to take notes. Like most good facilities, they've got rental gear available, and it is good gear. They take good care of it. They got the nice jumpsuits. It's not the old ratty ones that are worn down and never get washed. Good, clean gear. I am a neat freak, so for me to say a place is clean, it's clean. Trust me on that. You can upgrade different markers besides the basic ones, good old reliable Tipmans there and such. Gloves, the whole bit, and really good prices. And been members there for Connor and I for about 3 years now, and we'll continue to. And when COVID ends, let me tell you, when that place opens up again, got to support that place. Got to support it. Keep going there. Like most places, since we're going to talk about a typical day there, you go there, you sign your waivers, you get your gear, and if you haven't played paintball before, or you know what, even if you've played but never played there, I'd even recommend taking the orientation. Obviously, if you've never played, you do. But even for people the first time there, take the orientation. They have rooms on the side just for private parties and stuff, but they have a room specifically where they take you so you're away from the staging area, and these new players will be told exactly the parameters and the little ins and outs of not only paintball, but just things that are more field specific. They do have a nice staging area. Big and open. Got a couple of cubicles for you to change if you're not in one of the other rooms already. Obviously, there's a bathroom. You can get drinks, the whole thing like that. It wouldn't be a proper facility without it. They've got good storage lockers with and without locks if you want to put it in a big bin, trust everybody around you, which we do, by the way. That wasn't a joke or anything or demeaning anything. We leave ours in there. And but if you want a locker, there's lockers upstairs. There's a little observation deck, a second floor that you can go up and see. And there's some lockers in there if you want to use that. Okay, so, now let's get to the nitty gritty. So you are going to go to LaSalle Paintball. So when it comes to hours and such, I'm going to put a link, LaSalle Paintball, their website, so you can take a look there. But look, it opens at noon, so you get there. The average day is going to be a build-up. Why is it a build-up? Well, it's an indoor field. Games are 8 minutes long each, and they do have a lot of parties and that, kids' parties, work parties. I took my work there once, and when you get parties and stuff like that, you get a lot of new people. And you want to build up the game types. Each game is 8 minutes long. Some can be a little longer depending on the makeup of the field, but generally speaking, they're 8 minutes long. And so if you get out there at noon, and which generally, by the way, there's like two rushes really. There's that early crowd right when it opens, and then there's around between 4 and 6, especially on the weeknights. The weeknights sometimes they're open. They only open up in the evening, but if you're there on a Saturday, or a Sunday, from noon to 4 or such, and then then they'll start kind of repeating the games going again, because you do tend to have a change. Think of it as like having a next shift come in. Now the first game you're going to play when you go to LaSalle Paintball is Street Fight. And actually first, I'll say that it is, and I mentioned this in other videos, but just putting this out there if you haven't seen those particular videos, LaSalle Paintball, the layout is a western town. So you got a city hall, you got a hangman's platform, you got a jail, saloon area, you have a hotel, and you even have a mountain and a church. You can't have a western town without a church. That's where the preacher goes, because in the westerns, that's what they call the priest or whatever you have. Now, when you're playing most of the games, I'm going east to west with my hands here. You guys know I like talking with my hands. The church and the mountain are on the western side. For most of the games, you're not allowed to go in there. Just like the hotel, you're not necessarily allowed to go in there for a lot of the game types, but I'll explain that. So back to the very first game you're going to play there, and that is Street Fight. So it's first floor only. You can't use the hotel, and you can't use the mountain and church. As a matter of fact, unless I say those are in play, assume they're not. So you can't go on the second floor in street, and you can't go inside any buildings. This is a really good first game type to play because you get your feel of it. Because especially when there's newer players or players that never played at the field before, they don't know what to do, or they don't know where the good spots are, depending if you're brand new or experienced, but just new at the field. If you start something where you can go into those buildings at first, the experienced players are just going to wipe people out. So Street Fight's good because you got to kind of go in the open. You go behind barrels, you go behind the buildings, but not inside of it. It really is a good warm-up because everybody's on level ground, and you get a good feel of what's going on. You're not as likely to get sniped from somewhere, some dark room where some guy's hiding across, on the other side of the map. Some good examples of videos where you can see us playing, the C1D crew, playing on street is High and Dry. These are more recent videos, or I'm going to name a few here. High and Dry, Street Fights 1, 2, and 3. There's 3 videos for that. Swept, So we're going to try now. This is where I figure out, I realize I'm really not that creative with naming some of these videos. And yet some of them I am. Guard Down, Not What I Expected, Pro's Revenge, Hunting the Pro. So those are examples of street fight videos. Now, first floor. Same situation. Again, I mentioned we're not going to use the exteriors, the mountain, the church, and the hotel. No second floor, but you can go inside the buildings now on the first floor. So it's like a street fight, but you can go inside those first floor buildings. Like I said, we're building up. And like most fields, by the way, is you won't play one game of Street Fight. You'll play at least 2. Usually it's just 2. But what happens is you'll spawn on like one side for one game. The next game you switch sides. This way you get to learn the field a little bit. You get to play the same game type twice. I said sometimes you play more than 2. I had a situation where, we get in at noon and we play Street Fight, and as we're playing like that start of the second game, a bunch of new people come in, so we're just going to kind of reboot it quickly. So that can happen sometimes. Generally speaking, with these, you play 2 games where you switch sides and you keep advancing. So we are at that first floor. So like I said, just like Street Fight, except you can go inside the buildings. It's building on the fact that you've already got some basics down, but now you're using those buildings. Pretty straightforward, right? So there you go. Some examples of videos we've done with the first floor game type. Inverted, Playing versus the Paintball Mom. That's a horrible name for video. Can't change it now. Bounce, Hold the Line, Out of Comfort Zone. Those are some examples of first floor. Now, second floor. One of my favorite game types. And by the way, if you haven't really played indoors or paintball at all these game types, and the reason why I put the extra videos, like look at these, there's a big difference if you have 4 players on each side or 14. So it's really cool how those dynamics change. So even if you stay all day and you play every game and then they reboot it, if the amount of people is different, it really adds a different feel to it. So anyway, second floor is second floor. It's like the street, except you can go into the buildings and you can go on both floors. Again, cannot use hotel, cannot use the church and the mountain. A lot of nooks and crannies here. If you can, I'd strongly recommend you do a walkthrough before you play second floor, just because it really adds a different dynamic to it. And I mean, you literally have twice as many buildings to go in. I'm not going to say twice as much space because obviously the floor, you're not floating, but it's good to get a feel of it. But again, we're building up from basic street to, okay, now you go in the buildings, now you use both floors. Natural progression, really good game type, fun. I don't want to say it's my favorite, but you know, sometimes if you're sitting there going, look, you can only play one game type, then what are you going to play? If you have enough numbers, if you have more than, if you have a half a dozen or more people on each side, I'd say second floor. Some examples of second floor videos: Office Play, Ouch, Friendly Fire, Cornered, Lord Noob, Crow's Nest, Scramble, Early Rush, Early Win. That's two things, but it's one video. A Good Group. So lots of videos with second floor. And, you know, from there, there's three other main game types you'll normally play at LaSalle Paintball in a day there. Now, the order of the next three can change because it's always going to be street, first floor, and then second floor. The next three can change around. I'm going to say what usually it is, and at least recently when the last few times I've been there. Next is going to be Commando. Commando uses just the second floor and just the east side of the map. So you're using the catwalks on the east side and you're using the hotel. Finally, we're going to get to play in the hotel. And instead of an east-west spawn, it's a north-south spawn. And again, like all the other game types, you're going to flip sides. So you take a turn from each side. Really good game type, incredibly intense. It is close quarters combat. You get into that hotel, it can be a little unnerving. I rarely go in the hotel, but you know, this is like the game type you definitely don't want to start when if you just show up and they're already playing, and Commando's the game type they're playing, and you haven't played it before, and you're new, be ready for it. Be ready for it. Maybe sit off. Great game type. It's the next one usually plays. Some of the videos we've done about that. Streak Over, Noob's Last Stand, Catwalk Assault, I'm on Your Team, Commando Pin, and Commando Overview, which is a video kind of shows the basic strategies, or the basic, as the name applies, Commando Overview. Generally a little bit about that game type. Now, very often you'll play, well, there's only two game types left. There's Mountain and there's Jail. We'll talk about Jail. Jail is another close quarter. You know what? I don't want to pin this down. Jail is Jail. The defending team has to either doesn't either. They have everybody inside the jail on the first floor with the exception of 2 or 3 people on top that can't leave the top area. It's 2 or 3 depending on how many people are playing. The attacking team has to eradicate everybody. The attacking team wins most of the games. You switch sides. Watch the videos about Jail that explain it a little better, but that's usually one that'll come out, either Commando or Jail. One of those. It'll usually be 4th or 5th on the menu of play. Don't be that guy. 3 strikes was bound to happen. Those are 3 examples of videos on it. Sometimes they don't play this game type if the makeup of the players isn't there. If there's not a lot of people, it's not a great game type. You know what? Let me retract that. It doesn't mean it's not a great game type. It's very slow and tactical. And if there's only a few people on each side, it usually works better with more experienced players. However, you still may play it with new players. Now, the last main game type is Mountain. And you want to call it Attack the Mountain or Defend the Mountain. Basically, the one team is defending inside the mountain. There's 2 floors in it. It's awesome. When you're in the field and you look there and you look in the back, oh, that's the mountain. It looks like nothing. It's amazing inside. So it's the mountain game type. Some people say attack the mountain. It's because when it's their turn to attack. And the others say, well, we're playing defend the mountain. Well, that's what you say when you're defending. Defenders usually win this game type. It is intense. It is a ball. One of my all-time favorite game types in any field, any scenario out there. And that variable about, if it's new players or if it's experienced players or if there's small numbers or big numbers, even if you played the same scenario, like 14 players on each side, it's a lot of players, by the way, 14 on each side, all experienced, and you played 4 games in a row, each game could be vastly different. Paintball in general can be like that, but Mountain can be just crazy. So those are the 6 main game types you'll play. And I mentioned, like, if you come at noon, you'll play those, like 2 games each, 8 minutes, take a break between and all that. And usually they start up again after that. They just start the repertoire because new people come in, or they just start from scratch, even if the same people are there. There are other game types they play there, and I will mention those in another video. But again, your basic game types you're going to play, so you're going to LaSalle Paintball for the first time. Street Fight, first floor, second floor, then usually Commando, Jail, and Mountain. And those last 3, especially the last 2, might change sequence. They might drop one in and out. But that's it. That's an average day. Look, it goes without saying that there are good people there. It all starts with ownership. The owners they're paintball players. I mean, face it, most paintball fields, especially successful, they're involved in the community. Not only the owners, the staff is great. And they are lucky because, the full-time members are really good. I've played at other paintball fields. I don't call out paintball fields that are bad. If I've had a bad experience, I try to give it a chance a couple times. Not all the paintball fields I visited have had videos and stuff. Some of them I like more than others. I always like to give them a chance, a second chance if I have a bad experience. So I always want to be positive, and I'm going to be positive. Don't hold any illusions. I am not sponsored by LaSalle Paintball. I don't get anything from them besides the thrill of playing. I mean, they don't sponsor me or give me, hey, you don't have to pay a membership fee. No. It's not a charity. It's a business. I have nothing to gain except, well, you know what? I'm going to tell the truth. I love the field, and it starts from the staff that works there, the people that go there. Positive people breeds a positive community. There's a good positive community around LaSalle Paintball. So, you know what? That's it. That's it for this video. Hopefully I don't have to edit it too much. I've been talking for quite a while now, as you people probably know from watching the videos. I like to talk, but also when I go over these, I find it's like, oh my God, why did I ramble? And that's what I'm doing right now. So thanks for watching. Remember, there will be a follow-up video on some other game types you might play at LaSalle Paintball. And if you have any other questions about the field or anything about it, I mean, you can ask me, or even better, go ask them at the LaSalle Paintball's website or their Facebook page, Fans of LaSalle Paintball. I'll put the links in the description. Oh my God, I sound like a YouTuber. Check out the links in the description. Thanks for watching. Love a subscribe or like if you haven't already, and you feel it's earned it. And otherwise, just help those new players. Try different fields. Spread the word about your local field so people can come out, because the more people in the community means the bigger and stronger that community is. Thanks.
Game over.